As a PhD student who is currently carrying out the research on immunity of diplomatic and state officials, this process has opened me up to a lot of legal instruments, both nationally and internationally. And then looking at the Universal Declaration of Rights, Article 3 provides for right to life, liberty, and security of persons. And because these instruments have encouraged countries, states, parties to make sure that they also incorporate the provisions of these legal instruments into the local laws of each country. That is why you can see that under our own constitution, under chapter 4 of the constitution, you will discover that it solely discusses fundamental rights. So particularly under section 35 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, you will discover that there is right to personal liberty. That is why you can choose to walk on the road. You can choose to go wherever you want to go. In my previous post, I had mentioned that these rights are not absolute. That is why there can be derogation or limitations or restrictions to the exercise and enjoyment of these rights, especially when it will affect public order or public policy or public interest. It can be curtailed to some extent. But whatever it is that is going to be used to curtail these rights must be legislated upon, must be something that is already in a law form. Okay, so if you also look at, there is the Fundamental Rights Enforcement Procedural Rules of 2009, which is like a wheel upon which the enforcement of fundamental rights that are provided under chapter 4 of the Constitution can operate. Now, if you look at the preamble of this procedure, you will see that courts shall constantly and conscientiously seek to give effect to the overriding objective of these rules at any stage of human rights action, especially whenever it exercises any power given to it by these rules or any other law, or whenever it applies or interprets any rule. Parties and their legal representatives must also help the court. Are you seeing that? Both parties, both their legal representatives, everybody has a role to play to ensure that the court does the right thing. So this is the Fundamental Rights Enforcement Procedure Rules 2009 that it helps in enforcing the provisions made under Chapter 4 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 with respect to fundamental rights. Okay, now because of this liberty, you can see that every individual person has a right to choose. You can walk on the road without anybody coming to harass you, except in rare cases, because there's no society that is completely free from ills, okay, and bad behavior. So there are actually instances that such things can happen. But on an ideal situation, there is this liberty. You can drive, you can walk, you can take a walk, you can take a run, you can choose what kind of business you want to do. Nobody is compelling you that, you must do this business. Nobody is compelling you that, okay, because you're a woman, you cannot venture into this business. So long as you have the resources, so long as you have the capacity to go into that kind of business, you are at liberty to venture into that kind of business. This is Xavier Law Essential. We give you premium legal tips to help you make informed decisions, live informed life, and discover the best version of yourself. We'll see you again.